Yo, what's happening? All my fellow P pushers standing on motherfucking principle. We back today, starting a new book read, the Ashtavakra Gita. This here is a different version called The Heart of Awareness. The Heart of Awareness by Thomas Byrom. So today, y'all know how we get down. We go straight for the gusto, straight to the gut. Straight to the gut with this so-called spiritual information or so-called spiritual realization. We go for the direct experience other than going for by the wayside of trying to get a whole bunch of mystical experiences, trying to understand a whole bunch of signs and symbols and understand what the government or aliens or anything is doing to us. We're not running from low vibrations. You know what I'm saying? We're not ducking and dodging. We're not living in fear, survival mode. We're going past that. We're going above and beyond that. I'm going to drop this in the Discord. We're going above and beyond that with the direct. When I say direct, I mean direct as can be. These are some of the most direct things or the direct teachings ever. And if you listen to any of the people who talk about non-duality, they will mention this book, the Ashtavakra Gita, as one of the most direct and advanced, not advanced and better than the next or better than them, but most, that's really it. It's just the most direct. Like, it ain't got no time for the fluff. You deal what I'm saying? No time for the fluff. A lot of shit, a lot of people may not be able to tap into. A lot of shit people just won't be able to tap into. We got the gang in here. Let's see. My guy, what's happening? We got Coop TGS in here, the gang in here. Mantra in here, the gang in here. Cosmic Puzzle Piece, the gang in here. I make that a lot. Wagwan, brethren. Wagwan, dread. What's happening? So this is one of them books that really just don't sugarcoat. That's probably the best way to say it. This is one of them books that really just don't sugarcoat shit. Hold up, I'm trying to make sure. There you go. Make sure we live on IG too. But this is one of them books that really just don't sugarcoat shit, bro. So I should have looked this up earlier. The specific book I got is this one. So for y'all who still ain't got the book and want to get it, it's fairly cheap. Not even over $20. On Amazon, you can get it for around $20, and I'm under $20. And for other places like Goodreads or something like that, you can get it for even lower. So for those that don't know, the Ashtavakra Gita. So I need y'all in the comments to let me know. There's actually the version I'm going to read goes straight to the translator's introduction. If y'all want me to read the foreword, which is the foreword is like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, or we can go straight into the introduction. That's just this version that has the foreword. This version itself specifically has the foreword. And before we get into, y'all let me know about that in the comments. And before we get into it, for y'all who have seen a new video of the Cosmic P, the I Am That theme song, y'all know we're finna have to go on and push that P. We're gonna have to push that P, let that play for a minute, and I get back to it. We'll be right back.
They told me go find yourself. I said, baby, I never lost me. was always here, always here. They asked me who I am, I said I'm nothing and everything. Pain is just a body, suffering's a mental thing. The world a mirror, baby, what you see is what you bring. Stop imagining you this or that, you already a king. Grew up in the struggle thinking I was what they called me. Broke, lost the problem, but that was never really me. I'm the space behind the noise, I'm the calm inside the storm. Been here before the trauma, gon' be here when it's gone. The real don't die, the fake never live. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Seeker is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing, love said I'm free. Between the nothing and the everything, my whole life flows. The mind create the abyss, but the heart let it go. I ain't practicing no more, I just be what I know. You want nothing, expect nothing, that's when blessings show. They try to define me, put me in a box and lock it. Truth don't fit in boxes, can't contain it in your pocket. Like the sky don't fight the clouds, I just let them pass through. Everything I thought I was, none of that was true. The real don't die, the fake never lived. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Secret is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing, yeah. Love said I'm free. Little baby, I've been crying, but my tears ain't made of pain. Ain't made of recognition, seeing clearly through the rain. Every person that betrayed me was a mirror on the wall, showing me the parts of me I didn't want to call. Suffering is just resistance, non-acceptance of the real. You can't hear what you won't face, you can't face what you won't feel. But beyond the mind is something that ain't never been disturbed. Can't describe it with emotion, can't contain it with a word. Little baby, stop the suffering, just accept what is. Real don't need no proving, unreal never live. The supreme come uninvited when you let go the grip. The awareness never dies, only the ego slip. I done lost people, lost money, lost my mind a time or two. But the one who's watching all of that, he never lost his cool. That's the real me, that's the part they cannot take. That's the part that woke up every time my life would break. Wisdom told me I am nothing, and I felt free when she said it. Love told me I am everything, and I cry cause I believe it. Now between those two forever is where I choose to live. Not in fear, not in ego, just in all I have to give. The world don't owe me nothing and I'm good with that today. I stopped demanding answers and the truth came anyway. Uninvited, unexpected, like the sun after the rain. Never broke again, don't just mean money, it means pain. You are already that which you see. You are already that.
All right, we back. Damn the vibes right there. That is the motherfucking vibes. My nigga P Pusher with the I Am That, aka the SOP theme song, the Cosmic P Pusher theme song. Shout out to my brother in darkness, Travis motherfucking Majors. The big forehead gods is in the building. Zero, my brother, what's happening? He said them lyrics deserve a Grammy. Hey, so if y'all haven't, Trav got that recent upload that he just put up about connecting with the higher self. Oh my God, that is some straight P-pussy shit right there. That's some straight P-pussy shit right there. That's some straight. I ain't got too much to even say about it. Other than why the fuck you ain't watched it yet. So add that to your save to watch later list. Now back to it, y'all. So we can go on and get up into it. Shout out to Big Ganesh, facts. Big Ganesh, the remover of them motherfuckers. I don't know, man. Do y'all want me to read the foreword? Or we can go into the, I think. We can read the foreword. See, the thing about the foreword, I'm not going to be able to read it on screen. I'm going to have to hold the book up and read it. I'm going to just have to read it. So one more vote. If y'all want me to read the foreword or go straight into the translator's introduction, because I'm not skipping the translator introduction. It's just the version that I got on the screen is not the same one in the book. So who wants to read the foreword? Okay. Trav says the foreword usually adds context. Right. Okay. So technically, we got Mothra says read it. I make that a lot, say read it. Coop says skip it. Sorry, Coop. And then Trav said read it. So we get one more in, that'll balance it out. Let me know what we doing, y'all. How we gonna rock this thing out? We rocking out with the Glock out, or we just playing around? Let me get some in the chat. All right. And also, Rose told me to read it. So we're going to read it. So that balanced it out. We reading it. Y'all just got to look at my big forehead for a little minute. All right. And y'all know now, some of these Sanskrit words, a nigga may not be able to say them perfectly. So hold on, let me get a sip of my water. Appreciate y'all being here this Sunday. All right. The Ashtavakra Gita, which Dr. Byron, because remember, this is by Thomas Byron. This is his translation of the Ashtavakra Gita that we'll be reading. So the Ashtavakra Gita, which Dr. Byron has so aptly translated here, is known under several different names. For example, Admashtia Mastria. I don't know how to say that. Advaita Anabhuti. Jana Anda Samakayaya. Forgive me. And so forth, as well as variants on the Ashtavakra Gita title, such as Ashtavakra Sukra and the Ashtavakra Shmita. This variation in its naming suggests its essential anonymity, a feature which superficially would link it with the anonymous literature par excel of the epics of Puranas, as would also both parts of the name Ashtavakra Gita. There have been, of course, numerous texts called Gitas, composed in imitation of the Bhagavad Gita, which we all know, right? At least have heard of, which is perhaps the most famous single part of the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata, right? And most of these are, or at any rate, claim to be incorporated in one or another of the Puranas. There are, however, a few Gitas which make no such claim but are fully independent. And it is of those that the Ashtavakra Gita begins. So it doesn't make any claim to be part of or to go along with the Bhagavad Gita, right? As is only to be expected from its clearly Vedantin outlook. Unlike many such Gitas, Ashtavakra Gita is not a mere reworking of the Bhagavad Gita, and it does not quote directly from it. Hold up, y'all. And it does not quote directly from it. Although there's a little doubt that its author was well acquainted with the Bhagavad Gita. For example, it echoes Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, verse 8 through 9, and are probably seen in Ashtavakra Gita chapter 17, verse 18 and 12, and chapter 18, verse 47, plus 65. Occasionally, these independent Gitas are named after their supposed author, rather than with a title indicating their sectarian affiliation. So you get to understanding that, like, a lot of these Gitas are added with the name of the actual person who the Gita is written by, right? Two instances are the Yuhathaya Gita and the Vamadevi Gita, both found in the Mahabharata. Similarly, Ashtavakra first appears as the protagonist of the episode, usually termed the Astarkiya, but sometimes known as Astarkiya Gita, an episode which was probably inserted into the Mahabharata during the course of its expansion, but is nonetheless alluded to the other epic, the Ramayana, at a late point in its growth. Ram, chapter 6, verse 16.6. In this episode, Ashtavakra, who appears as something of a child prodigy, at the age of 12 is able to defeat Janaka's Sutta, Bard or Herald, whatever that means. Is y'all here? Where y'all at? I don't see no comments. Maybe y'all listen. Let me make sure y'all in the chat. If y'all in the chat and I'm still coming through clear, let me know something. Let me know what's happening. Is the stream coming through clear? Somebody drop something in the chat before I continue to read. So obviously, yeah. Trav said, Bard holds the songs, sings the songs, and Herald holds the flags. Okay. So let's read that sentence again. So Ashtavakra, who appears as something of a child prodigy at the age of 12, is able to defeat Janaka Sutta, Bard or Herald. So the person who sings the song and the person who holds the flag. Banding in riddling debate, probably a later form of the Vedic ritual, Brahmayadas, or contests about Brahman. So they used to, so the debate and shit been going on back then. That's another thing that I learned about Advaita Vedanta. They couldn't what is it called, Trav? What's the blue book? God damn it. Let me see. Hold up. I gotta get it because I'm bringing it up. Hold up. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Samkhya, niggas. Samkhya. They was going through the ego Olympics, right, Trav? So back then they had a whole bunch of debates going on. A lot of debates. I forgot why I brought up Samkhya, but I know Samkhya was one of the ones that was undefeated. But nonetheless, hold up. Let's get back to it. The ego Olympics. So they were, where we at? So they were having contests about Brahman. Although the numerical contests in which they engage, with each in turn composing a verse which lists concepts or entities, characteristics of the numbers from 1 and upward, is a very different in form. Its underlying concern with the Brahman is presumably the reason why Ashtavakra was chosen as the expounder of the Ashtavakra Gita. If so, it is interesting that the Sutta Banding is replaced as the other main figure by Janaka, who is well known as one of the major debaters in the Upanishads. The Mahabharata episode interprets Ashtavakra name as meaning cricket in 8 ways. That's why when you typically see a picture of Ashtavakra, his body's all bent up and shit. If you've ever seen any picture where they got like a guru with a stick and his body's all built up and shit, bent up and shit, that's typically Ashtavakra. And explains it as resulting from his father's curse, right? Rather, obviously, an etymological legend, a secondary explanation for an otherwise inexplainable name. The same mechanism of the curse is invoked in the story about Ashtavakra, found in the Puranas. In the Brahma Sutras, or the Brahma P. I don't know what Brahma P is. But this time, Ashtavakra curses the shit, y'all. Apsaras. Apasaras. Ashtavakra curses the Apsaras, who mock his deformity, which is much more in keeping with the popular view of aesthetics as extremely and liable to utter curses at the slightest provocation. Both stories are found together in later Sanskrit literature. For example, y'all know I can't say these damn words. Ayodhi Maya, Ayodhi Amaha Tamaya. The same deformity and readiness to curse are found also in the modern Indian language, in a story found in the Abutacharas, Bengalis Ramayana, in the Savagi Kanda of the Bengali Padamarana, ancient fairies. Okay, nymph. Okay. Okay. Appreciate you, Trav. So Trav just broke that down. Apsara. Apsara is a female spirit of the clouds in waters in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. So they're nymph, or aka ancient fairies. All right. So Ashtavakra cursed these fairies that made jokes about his deformity. Like you niggas making jokes about my forehead. All right. She gives birth in that one, in that story of the Bengali Padma Purana. A mother takes advantage of both to make her son whole. She gives birth to a son, Bhathgritha, who is just a lump of flesh without bones, and following Vistashta's advice, places him where he will see Ashtavakra and is anticipated, excite Ashtavakra's wrath by his laughter, which since it is not ridiculing Ashtavakra, leads in fact to his healing. In several versions of the Manas Mangal of Bengali, Ashtavakra curses Manas, Manasa apostrophe S. Manasa's youngest sister. So Ashtavakra curses Manasa's youngest sister, Nato. In an Ori work, the 16th century Sunya Smita, it is said that Ashtavakra cursed the Yadavas for some petty reason. However, there is nothing in the later traditions about Ashtavakra which is in any way helpful in understanding his role in the Ashtavakra Gita, or why he was chosen to give a name to the essentially anonymous text. We are left with the significance of the context of the Mahabharata episode as the only real clue. It is perhaps the relevance of that alone, combined with the similarity in the title to the Bhagavad Gita, which has encouraged many Indian scholars to see it as belonging to the same period, and thus dating to around the 4th century BCE. They therefore see certain radical Advaitian views found in the Ashtavakra Gita, which occur also in Gupada's writings, as anticipated by his ideas. In reality, however, the Ashtavakra Gita as a whole reveals a form of Advaita Vedanta, which has undoubtedly undergone a long line of development and must at least be later than Samkarya, the renowned codifier of the Advaitian system. Sankarya. If you've heard of his name. Where we at? Doctrinally, Doctrinally, the text has much in common with Sadhana's Vedanta Sura and Vidya Suras from the 14th and 15th century, while in its adaptation of epic setting to the propagation of the Advaitin viewpoint, it has analogies with the Yoga Vishta, a momental 12th or 13th century recasting of the Ramayana as the basis for a passionate exposition of Advaita. Gaupada was the first exponent of Advaita Vedanta and traditionally is held to have been the teacher of Samkarya. Had been the teacher of Samkarya's teacher, but more probably lived about 3 centuries earlier than Samkarya. Gaupada's main doctrine was that of non-origination, according which the whole world is merely an appearance. Nothing ever really comes into being, since nothing other than Brahman really exists. And the whole world is an illusion like a dream. Indeed, he goes so far as to declare that there is in principle no difference between waking and dreaming, thus abolishing a distinction on which Samkarya later insists. In the radicalism of his position on some points, and in the evident similarities to Buddhist thoughts, Gaupada exhibits a more extreme position than Samkarya, and also than the Ashtavakra Gita. Even more extreme than the Ashtavakra Gita. Because watch what we're gonna get in here and hear what the Ashtavakra has to say. Hold up. What the Ashtavakra has to say spiritually. I don't know what the fuck I use that word. All right. Samkarya, as the founder of Advaita Vedanta and author of the Brahma Sutra Bahasi, is the pivotal figure, not only in philosophical views of the Advaitin system, but also to an extent often not sufficiently realized. In its organizational structure, and hence its subsequent popularity, his central doctrine of the identity of Atman and Brahman, of the individual self, with the ground of the universe, is based on the Vedas, reconciling their apparent contradictions by recourse to the EXEGETICAL. Exegetical device of the two levels of truth, already well established in Buddhist thought. Much as Samkarya is admired as a philosopher, philosophy was not in fact his prime concern, but the tool with which to achieve moksha, or liberation, for himself and others. The multiple and finite entities of the phenomenal world are essentially identical with Brahman, the absolute, and it is only our ignorance or misunderstanding, which is advidya, which means ignorance, which prevents our seeing this. That's the only problem here. Our seeing is what? Where our ignorance lies. We do not see clearly. Oh shit, I'm missing a lot of comments, but okay. Critical explanation or analysis of scripture. I never seen that words. Exegetical, which means critical explanation or analysis of scripture. All right. Let's see where we at. So our ignorance of how we see is what's blocking us from seeing, and not just seeing as in with your eyes, as far as analyzing, as far as understanding, as far as when they say see as well, they mean by 5 senses as well. So your sight, you're hearing, you're feeling, you're smelling, you're tasting, you're touching, right? All of that is also included. When you hear Advaita Vedanta teaching, when they say seeing, they mean all 5 of your senses. They don't just mean literally see with your eyes. So I think that's good that I put that out there. Let's see. Exegesis, exegetical, Bible scholars. Okay. Peace. I think you've been in here, but what? My bad. Peace anyway, my nigga. This the book, bro. So I make that a lot. The Heart of Awareness, a translation of the Ashtavakra Gita. Heart of Awareness. One of the most direct, straightforward texts when you get down to Advaita or non-dualism. Don't cut no corners. I think when I first ran into this book, I think me and you had a after Trav, I talked to you about this when we after I did the Dark Veil Lifted video. I think I brought this up to you. I think we hopped on the phone as soon as I got done with the Dark Veil Lifted video. Certain pick, what's happening? You said a little ripping and running, but he here. That's all we need. Lend us your ear, my brother. Trav said, you remember? Okay. Drop that like, y'all. Drop that like button. Hit that like button, y'all. Y'all know how we do. It ain't hard to do. Hit that like button. All right. So let's see. The multiplicity and individuality of phenomena lie in their separate identities, which Advaita or ignorance superimposes onto the absolute, or you can even say Maya, right? Imposes onto the absolute. When we perceive the world around us, we do perceive something, but our mistake or our ignorance consists in taking it as something other than Brahman, something other than the self, something other than God, something other than consciousness. Which I tell you, this is the only way that an illusion can be created, through this ego, through this mind, this analytical process, that whole thing. That's the only way an illusion can be created. And it's not illusion just because it's the fakest of the fakest shit. It's illusionary, and by way that we understand it, that it's not actually what it seems to be. Because what it is actually God. All of this is God. Is actually what it is. But the illusion puts layers on, like putting a shirt on. Like, I'm not really this shirt. You can call me the dude with the white chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I'm not the white chested dude. I got a white shirt on. It's covering up who I really am, what color my chest really is. If that was a good example, I'm not sure. But whatever, nigga. The basic teaching Samkarya embodies repeatedly in illustrations such as the rope and the snake, or the silver and the mother of pearl, which have become of the part of the stock imagery of later Advaita, which we hear a lot. Just in case you haven't heard the snake in a story, the snake in a rope story. So you're in a lightly dim room and you see a rope and you end up believing that it's a snake by quick glance, or just by, oh my God, it's a snake, staring at it, you thinking it's a snake. But really, in reality, it's a rope. So that fear of that snake is real in that moment. Here we go, talking about the illusion. It's real in that moment. And the only way to clear your fear of this snake that's not really there because it's a rope is through knowledge, is by seeing correctly, right? In this case, we talk about literally seeing. And some people will say, go through the path of negation. It's not this, not this, not this, not this. And you already, the analytical process, or let me be straightforward with it, discernment. You have to discern through. So once you get the discerning through, you figure out, oh, it's actually a fucking rope. I was scared of nothing the whole goddamn time. It wasn't nothing but a fucking rope. The fear leaves, The anxiety leaves. The uncertainty that you have in this world about where your life is going to go, it leaves. It drops just by purely going through the discerning factors. That's all Advaita Vedanta is about. Non-dual teachings of the Vedanta is about nothing about discerning, only about discerning through. And once you discern through, that removes all the karma. That removes all the ignorance. That removes all the fear. That removes all the worrying about this and this and this and this and that. After you go through the proper discerning channels. Now, the thing about in common spirituality, we don't have a lot of discerning factors that people push. That's why I fought with a nigga like Trav, because he clearly helps you discern through the foolishness. That's why I fought with somebody like Bobby. That's why I fought with a nigga like Panic, because they clearly help you remove your own snake that's appearing as your own rope that's appearing as a snake, so you can see it for what the fuck it is. Let me see. Certain pick in this bitch. Oh, we already seen certain pick. My bad. So the human mind and body is the cover-up of Brahman in you. Not even just the human body, the whole manifest reality. Anything that you can think of is covered up with name, form, and function. What do I mean by names? The title that we give things. We say that's the color red. We say that's the wall. We say this is the finger. We say this is a hand, the name. And the form, it's a hand because it has the form of what we have labeled as a hand. You get what I'm saying? So that's the name. And then the form is whatever shape this is. And then the function. What does a hand do? It opens, it closes, it points, it punches. It can finger. It can it can pull a trigger. You know what I'm saying? The finger can thump the shit out somebody's ear. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck the name, form, and function is. Apply that to anything that you can perceive. Taste, touch, smell, see, feel. That's what's covering up Brahman. Name, forms, and functions. And concepts when we get to the mind, because the hand is a concept itself. Hitting someone is a concept itself. This is what we mean when it's all covered up. Such as personality and how you sense the world. Fact. So that personality, which that ego has carved out of the Brahman and made seem separate. See, because when we see clearly, we get to understand something like, look at this t-shirt. You call this a t-shirt, but what is it really? Once you properly discern, it's white cotton thread. But we don't say, hey, man, you on a white cotton thread. We already label it with a concept that's already known and accepted to help linguistically for a common conversation. I forgot what the word is. To communicate, right? So we already accepted these concepts in just a t-shirt. So now think about this. The thread automatically gets forgotten about. Now it's just a white t-shirt. In the concept, the main mongering concept is what's ultimately adapted. So we forget about Brahman. We forget about God. We forget about the self. And we just see this black man with a big forehead, with glasses and dreadlocks, reading to you on YouTube. You forget that though. You forget the background. All right, that's what we attacking when we shit on this channel in general. God damn it. Facts. See thoughts through the illusion of the mind. See the thoughts through the illusion of the mind. Leandra, peace, peace, peace. Back again. Appreciate you showing up. Being inside with the game. This is what we do. We are reading, just for you joining, we are reading The Heart of Awareness, a translation of the Ashtavakra Gita by Thomas Byrom. One of the most straightforward pieces that you will read in spirituality. Yeah, it's just straightforward. Let's see. Okay. Atman is all there is. All else is illusion. Facts. All right, y'all. Let us get through this foreword so we can actually start the goddamn book. We got one more page of the foreword. Let's get through the foreword so we can start the book. Like Trav said, this usually gives a lot of context. And we need context, right? All right. So, for Samkarya, the nature of ignorance is indescribable. The nature of ignorance is indescribable. What else is that saying? If you study these teachings of these more direct yogas, that's the same description that they give Maya. It's indescribable. The nature of ignorance is indescribable. Prakriti is ultimately indescribable. Maya, the illusion, is ultimately indescribable. And like I like to say, that goes hand in hand with what they say about Brahman and consciousness. It's indescribable. The ultimate truth is indescribable. It's just a intuitive knowing that you come to realize. And it's like there's no words in language because language is dualistic. Let me stop. Let me not continue there. See, if it were entirely, okay, the nature of ignorance is indescribable. Since if it were entirely unreal, we should not be entrapped by it. And if it were real, then Brahman would not be the sole reality. Thus, he denies the absolute reality of the world in order to affirm the sole reality of Brahman, with which is in its essential nature, the Atman is identical, the self is identical. However, the individual self is a combination of reality and appearance. Listen to that. The individual self is a combination of reality and appearance, real insofar as it is Atman, and thus Brahman, but illusionary insofar as it is limited and finite. Brahman, though, it is not just an abstract concept, but the goal of the spiritual quest. Release is achieved with the arrival of true knowledge. Freedom is achieved. Moksha is achieved. Nirvana is achieved with the arrival of true knowledge. The realization that oneself and Brahman are in truth identical. The awakening of this realization is therefore the overriding aim of all Samkarya's teachings. Later Advaitins may sometimes become mainly scholastic. Indeed, debate on the nature of ignorance and where it resides was to divide into two sub-schools, right? So later niggas became debaters. He wasn't really on it. He wasn't trying to figure none of that shit out. He would just point directly what the fuck it is. Later people became debaters and scholastic. But individual writers later were to present these ideas with all the fervor, F-E-R-V-O-R, and persuasiveness, fervor, and persuasiveness of Samkarya himself. At a later date, a definite trend deployed of using of a somewhat more literary form as the vehicle for the teaching, often adopting the easy shloka of the epics and the Puranas as the medium, and sometimes, as we have seen, even borrowing them from the epic narrative in works like the Yoga Vashista and the Adhyatma Ramayana. It is in this tradition that the Ashtavakra Gita stands, and within which it is has achieved considerable popularity, not only in India, but also in the West. The first translation into a European language was made as much as 120 years ago, in 1868, with an Italian translation by Carlo. Its author used 3 manuscripts from the Tübingen in Petersburg. The more recent edition, with German translation by Richard Hochschild, is based on 3 manuscripts in Leipzig. These are foreign words, so Leipzig, as well as those by Goscinny. Many other manuscripts exist in European libraries, to say nothing of India. So motherfuckers didn't even mention India. For example, there are as many as 9 in the Bodleian Library, Oxford, including two which by their dates are older than any used by the Gosini or Housechild. However, a simple coalition of these two demonstrates that there has been little variation in transmission of the text, though some in these titles given to the sections of the dialogue. The text significance for modern Vedantins is well illustrated by the tradition of Vivekananda. Y'all remember when we started this? We started with Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga, right? Now, because let's talk about this. Because when we talk about when we talk about so-called a history of Advaita Vedanta, you got your Sankaryas who live a long time ago, and then you get down to more recent time when the West got introduced to yoga, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was that motherfucker who brought it to the West, hands down. When the Rothschilds and all of them was finally taking over the world of late 1800s or mid 1800s, Swami Vivekananda was a leader in this shit and bringing this shit over here. But his OG was Sri Krishna. Hold on, I'm gonna read them comments. But his OG was Sri Krishna, right? Advaita Vedanta, right? OG Sri Ramana Krishna, the Gospel of Sri Ramana Krishna. I got it over there. And Sri Ramana Krishna would have the Ashtavakra Gita. And he would keep it to himself. He wouldn't teach it to his students. He'd keep it to himself. But remember how we talk about those circles, then those inner circles, then those inner circles? He used to try to get Swami Vivekananda to read the Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra Gita, he ain't want to read it. He ain't fuck with it. He ain't like it. He talking about none of this, don't do this, and none of this, and this, and this, and that. He's blasphemous. I don't want to read that. Why would I read that? So his OG, his guru, was like, no, I don't want you to read it for you, but, you know, I'm old and feeble. Can you read it for me? Fucking with him. Got him. Not fucking with him, trying to fuck him over, but getting him to see the truth in this book, this Ashtavakra Gita, by way of, help me out, my nigga. I can't read. I'm old. Help me read. Swami Vivekananda adapted very fucking soon. Let me figure out where I was at. All right, figure out what I meant. We got two paragraphs. I'm going to read this. To me, it's interesting how he cursed all the minor spirits. Remind me of how Elijah in the Bible cursed them little boys of making fun of his head. He cursed them and a bear mauled them to death. Damn. See? Now, I think we're going to get into it inside the introduction where they talk about whatever happened after Ashtavakra cursed them. Damn, okay. Freedom is achieved with the what's the name of true, the arrival of true knowledge. Yeah, that book was fire, bro. Jnana Yoga was fire. And you got to understand that Swami Vivekananda, he came speaking on stages in England and America during the time like when niggas weren't even out of slavery yet or just getting out of slavery, supposedly. Let's not debate the history, but you know. So he was speaking light. It was heavy for that time, but it was very light. He couldn't speak this shit. But you will hear traces, now that I've read the Ashtavakra Gita, from those speeches that he gave, you can hear traces of this Ashtavakra Gita in his speeches. So basically, Trail says, basically saying these texts are scattered in libraries across yoga and have been documented. But there are countless supporting texts in India, and they all provide each other as consistent. And they prove each other as consistent. Basically, okay, that's basically what this whole foreword is saying. Gotcha. So now, hey, remember Vivekananda was the actual one who taught, was it the Rothschilds? What's the other one that's not a Rothschild? that you hear that own nothing control everything. These motherfuckers say you get from the Illuminati. Vivekananda had that conversation with one of the Rothschilds. What's the other dude name? I forgot his name. The other one that with Rothschild around that time. He had that conversation with him. He came in all arrogant and shit, asking Vivekananda, like, I got all this money and I got all this, but I'm still not happy. And Swami Vivekananda told him, like, shit, you ain't happy because you can't own none of this shit. None of this you do, none of this you can own. There's no owning any of this shit. This illusion, this and this and this and this and that. Rockefeller, that's it. Yeah, Rockefeller. That's who we talked to. And he had that conversation. Now, I put this together with my own mind. Because if he telling him that he don't own none of this, and then Rockefeller comes out with a statement of, or a whole concept of own nothing and control everything, he's understanding that he can't own nothing. He took what Swami Vivekananda said and ran with something else. But with the underlining understanding that I can't own none of this. I don't get to take this shit anywhere. For one, I'm not even a real fucking human being. For two, this human being gets to die, and you can't take the shit with you. So he took by way of that and twisted it and made his own little thing. There's just some history for y'all to know about Swami Vivekananda. So this knowledge is liberating in a way of showing the falsehood of humanity. Yes. If you want to sum that up in short, I guess you can say that. You can say that. I'm not against that. Yeah. The falsity and the truth of it. You can't knock out both. Ultimately. And when I say ultimately, I mean ultimately. Because all is Brahman. You see what I'm saying? So all that appears is false. But what really is, what's the source of this appearance? That's truth. But what's appearing is false. Like this white shirt. It's not a white shirt. It appears as a white shirt. That's false. What it is a whole bunch of cotton thread and probably a little polyester. I don't know. In that way. So let's put it like that. Interesting. No. Turn pixel right. Had to water it down a little bit. From a logical standpoint, he took it. Not spiritual. Yeah. He brought a lot of logic on their ass over there because he know who he was dealing with. You know, you're dealing with them folks. You know, they're going to have to bring some logic, but I ain't trying to hear it. That's why. Anyway, let's get to it. I make that lie say I understand now. Okay, bet, bro. The text significance for modern Vedantians is well illustrated by the tradition that Vivekananda was introduced to that Vivekananda was introduced to the Ashtavakra Gita by Ramana Krishna and value the text. Its popularity is intimately connected with its character, for it is in many ways as much poetic as didactic, using the standard images of the Advaita system to excellent effect. It has, with good reason, been characterized as the outpourings of a realized individual. Certainly, its traditional form as a dialogue between Ashtavakra as the teacher and Janaka as the pupil bears very little relationship to the message actually propounded. However, rather than trying to characterize the text any further, let me conclude and give the reader the opportunity of savoring in this new and elegant translation by Dr. Byrom. There have been English translations before, but this is the first to capture the spirit of the original in its freshness and directness. I warmly recommend it. That foreword is given by J.L. Brockington, Department of Sanskrit at the Edinburgh University. Now, my friends, we are going to get into the actual book. Everybody, how y'all feel out there? Everybody all right? Can I get an SOP in the chat if everybody is feeling all right? If y'all ready? Is y'all ready? Is y'all ready? Is y'all niggas ready? Ready, nigga, ready. Can I get my nigga ready? Okay, hold up. That's the actual. Got them SOPs in the chat. Got them SOPs in the chat. SOP, stand on principle. For those joining who do not understand, that means stand on principle. We standing on principle. Man, up with my girl watching, and shout out to you and the goddess for staying up, laying up on a Sunday morning, getting some of this non-dual straight cosmic P. You did. Damn, afternoon? Where you at, nigga? Well, I take that back. Technically, yeah, my bad. It's just not turning 1 here. I mean 12. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Because there's something that I did want to make known. I need something to be made known here. All right, fuck it, man. That don't want to work. Oh, I got some type of... Yeah, that ain't going to work. All right. Give me a grape and a couple strawberries. Couple strawberries. Nigga got a couple strawberries. Couple strawberries. And some grapes. Strawberries and some grapes. All right. Strawberries. Strawberry. And they get some of them strawberries out there. Damn, you ain't gonna share strawberry? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be nothing but a southern nigga doing nigga shit. Eating strawberries, smoking vapes, and reading non-duality books. What the fuck is going on? How you know this shit, bro? This shit is awkward. This whole reality is some shit, bro. You got a nigga eating strawberries, smoking vapes, read non-dual books. Like, what the fuck is this place? Just have fun, bro. Just have fun, man. Let me finish my strawberry and we think I'm gonna get in it. So this version I got here, y'all. This is Thomas Byrom's version. It's just not the Shambhala Dragon edition, which just I lightly skimmed through it, and it seems to be really just nothing was changed. Let me say that nothing was changed. That foreword just not in there. And the acknowledgement is also not in there. The acknowledgement is in this book. It's not in that one. Trey said we had a fat ass watermelon yesterday. Strawberry good as hell, well. Bought it from a one of a vendor on a street corner. On a street corner. Them be the ones too. Yo, watermelon? Watermelon? Yeah, seed too. Got them seeds too. It's summertime. Niggas eating strawberries and watermelon and chicken. I'm ready. All right, y'all. Let's do what the fuck we came to do. We ain't came to fuck around. We ain't came to fuck around. Let's see where we at with it. Does that show clear on everybody's screen? I need y'all to confirm that it's showing clear on y'all's screen. Is that better? Let me see. I need it to be legible for my niggas. My niggas. Okay. Okay. Let me put my shit on do not the fuck disturb. Do not the fuck disturb. Do not the fuck disturb. And let's do it. Got my fan. Need to turn it down a little bit. It's getting cold. Shout out to my woman, man. She be having these little gadgets like this little fan right here. Nigga had that motherfucker in bed. Like, we already got the air on 68 motherfucking degrees. We gonna freeze, but I need a little extra freeze in this motherfucker. What? Oh my God, she has transformed my life. All right, y'all. Shout out to the goddess, aka Rose. All right, so Translator's introduction. I remember the moment clearly. I had escaped from my sisters over the rocks and around the point. I was barely 7. Above me, a rough escarpment of boulders singing in the midday heat. At my feet, a rock pool of perfect, inviolable stillness, and beyond the blue vastness of the South Pacific, or the South Pacific, look at niggas. There was no other living creature. I was by myself, barefooted, between the cliff and the ocean. As I squatted there, watching the reflection of the wind in the unrippled pool, hearing its exaltation high above me in the bright emptiness of the sky, I became aware for the first time of awareness itself. I want to stop here. I have to stop here. I know we just started, but I got to stop here. What you need to understand, and this goes back to what we always say, and also what Trav touched on in his most recent video, dealing with the higher self, and his consultation with the person dealing with the higher self. Realization is fucking spontaneous. Here's the thing. Okay. Let me make this clear. Let me remove this real quick. Here's the thing. Hold up. Here's the thing. Realization is spontaneous. It's not that you have understood or intellectually understood a whole bunch of signs and symbols. It's not that. That is a part of a lot of people's process. It doesn't have to be a part of everybody's process. A lot of that builds you up to work the mind, so-called, to be able to see the subtlety of this reality, the true reality, the self, right? It builds you up, or like Trav said, it's gardening. You're tending to the garden is what you're doing. That's what spirituality is actually supposed to get you to do. Some people just get to fucking tending the garden and not even fucking paying attention to the actual flowers itself. They just preparing the garden. Keep preparing. That's why it's a practice. Like Trav said, it's a fucking practice. The practice is to get your stiff ego and your heavy identification with pain, suffering, this and this and this and this and that. It needs to toil. That soil needs to be tilled. So we getting that soil ripe. Because once that seed pop out, it's spontaneous. You're just getting ripened and getting ready for it. It's spontaneous. You're not going to be able to plan it. There's no planning self-realization. There's no logical way, intellectual way to plan self-realization. If I do this method, and put this method with this method, then do this method, then I'm going to be realized. That's not how it's happened. Actually, that's pushing it further the fuck away. I'm saying that because did you just see what he just read? Over some rocks, by some trees, on a bridge, on a whatever the fuck he was sitting on, looking at the ocean, and a wind rippled through him. Boom! Self-realization happened. It's fucking spontaneous. Please do not get yourself caught up in, hey man, y'all know how I get down what I say hell with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Stand on principle, man. Just know what it is. All right. So I had no name for it, but I could almost feel it as if it had substance, like the water in the rock pool, or breath, like the wind like the shouting wind. I saw that I was entirely by myself in a boundless ocean of awareness. In the same instant, I understood that awareness is the single mystery of life, that it enfolds all other mysteries, even the secret of the separate self. From that moment, I was indelibly astonished. And I knew that all my life I will be pinching myself and asking, what is awareness? Nothing else would ever command my attention so completely. How could it? For nothing else mattered next to the constant pressure, the single compulsion of this mystery. He's talking about know thyself. A quarter of a century went by, and one day my teacher placed in my hands a copy of Mukherjee's edition of the Ashtavakra Gita. You know what I'm saying? You get to talking about free will. Did you will that into at 7 years old? You had that experience? Did you will that? Now that a nigga placed the book of Ashtavakra Gita, and it's Ashtavakra Gita explains what the fuck you just experienced. I'm saying this, but man, hey, this was my experience. Not exactly like his, but the same thing. Ain't no coincidence, ain't no accident. I had by then, in the ordinary course of my seeking, read a great deal of scripture. Enough to know the truth of Ashtavakras Admontion. What the fuck does that word mean? Let's look it up. A firm warning. Okay. Reproof. Reproach. An act or action of admonishing. Authoritative counsel or warning. So he had enough truth of Ashtavakras warning halfway through his song. My child, you can talk about holy books all you like, but until you forget everything, you will never find yourself. Have we not heard that before? My child, you can talk about the holy books all you want, my nigga. You can talk about the holy books all you want to, but until you forget all of that shit, you ain't gonna know self. You can pull up every Bible verse, but until you drop all that and get a direct experience with God, you ain't gonna never find God. Scripture is meant to get help or understanding happen. Even spiritual tradition, that shit is a manual to help you get an understanding, not to get you the fucking direct experience of the self. All right. Understanding the vanity of scripture. There you go. I have hardly expected Ashtavakra to solve in a single epiphany the mystery of awareness. And yet, as I read his spare and simple verses, I felt that here at last were words which in some measure consumed my astonishment. They spoke directly and modestly. They seemed so, I don't know how to say this word, austere. Oh, they seem so austere and yet so generous. I found myself once more a child of 7, tipped between the sea and the sky, but hearing now in the wind's exuberance a clearer music, touching the heart of the mystery. What is the rising or the vanishing of thought? What is the visible world or the invisible world? What is the little soul or God himself? Awareness, pure awareness, the clear space, the sky, the heart of awareness. Ashtavakra's words begin after almost everything else has been said. So what is he saying? Ashtavakra words begin almost after everything has been said. So like the Ashtavakra Gita is not a book that's probably recommended for beginners. Let's say that. In spirituality, probably. I mean, but and that's even you can really not even say that because it's like motherfuckers can, you know what I'm saying? Like depending on man, the mental temperament of a person, they could just get into this shit today and boom, they can hop into. So I really can't say that. But for the most part, it's not really recommended for beginners. Because I'll use myself for example. After all the Bobby Hemmings, after all the Dr. Delbert Blair, after all the goddamn Dr. Benz, Dr. John Henry Clarks, after all the goddamn Bye-Bye Valentine, after all the Brother Panics, only then was my soil tilled enough for the seeds to actually fucking grow. For those experiences that I've had that just boom, it was direct and instant that, oh fuck, that eureka moment. Like I see Moffat said something about it. I ain't reading the comments just yet, y'all. But that sword had to been tilled. Because the first non-dual book I got was Gyang Yoga by mistake. I thought I was getting the Gyang Yoga that Trav had recommended from his old videos. When I got to the store, it wasn't that. It was this. It was Swami Vivekananda's. Is that by mere fucking chance? I say no. And it just started unlocking. Hold up. All this shit about chaos and all this shit about the darkness and the dark veil or this and this and this and that. They talking about this shit in yoga. What the fuck? That's a whole nother story. We've been there. I've discussed that on the Dark Veil Lifted video. But nonetheless, this book places you at that point after you done been through all that, so-called been through all that, so-called understood all that, so-called experienced all of that. And I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just trying to put it in a compact way for y'all to understand. This book places you directly at it. This teaching of the Ashtavakra Gita places you directly at that shit. And it says a lot of shit that's questionable amongst damn near every spiritual system. From what I've read and from what I've heard. From what I've read firsthand and what I've been told secondhand. That shit don't sound like it go in alignment with it. So be prepared. They barely touch the page. They are often on the point of vanishing. They are the first melting of the snow, high in the mountains, a clear stream flowing over smooth and shining pebbles. Theirs is the radiance of the winter sky above Trishul, Kalashi, Anaparamu, Annapurna. I guess these are cities. My Sak Guru, Neem, like the neem tree, Karoli Baba, called the Ashtavakra Gita the purest of scriptures. All its beauty in the transparency, it entrapped in flawless purity. It is written as a dialogue between King Janaka, the father of Sita, and his guru, Ashtavakra. So let's that be known. This is the teaching of a guru and a king. What do you think about a king? He's a super worldly man. He runs a whole fucking kingdom. He's got all the riches. He's got all the women. He's got all of this and all of that. And still, the nigga was looking for knowledge. So what does that say? It doesn't matter. You can be a rich motherfucker. You can be a poor motherfucker. You can be gay. You can be straight. You can be alcoholic. You can be a drunk. You can be all the walks of fucking life. There are no rules to this shit. Your walk of life and your morals ain't got shit to do with the soul. So, but this is just a literary device, unsupported by any internal drama. And I have done away with it in my version. So if you read the Ashtavakra Gita, it goes more into like the drama of the story. He, in this book, that's why I chose this one. In this book, he just goes straight directly to the verses. So he does away with all the drama of the story that gives the story some fluff or you know what I'm saying, make you feel like you're watching a goddamn movie or reading a novel or something. He took that out. The Gita has only one voice, Ashtavakras, a voice of singular compassion and uncompromised clarity. So typically, the Indian culture is set up between teacher and pupil, right? So basically, it's not too much of the pupil speaking in this book. It's purely what Ashtavakra or the guru has said. Not much of the teacher, the student asking, what do I do? What should I say? How should I? Which I think is actually good. But this version of Ashtavakra Gita is poetic, man. You will see. Let's see. This Gita has one voice, Ashtavakra's voice, a singular compassion and uncompromised clarity. He is not concerned to argue. This is not speculative philosophy. I got to highlight that. This is not speculative philosophy. He's not concerned with an argument. It is a kind of knowledge. Ashtavakra speaks as a man who has already found his way. He's already found his way. And now, hold on. And now wishes to share it. His song is a direct and practical transcript of experience. A radical account of ineffable truths or ineffable truths. We ain't speculating over here. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. We ain't speculating over here, playboy. Playboy. Hey, playboy. 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 Pure being one says Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra. Peace, 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 peace from wherever you at, my nigga, or my home girl, or whoever. But peace. Appreciate you for joining us, reading the Ashtavakra Gita, Thomas Byrom's version, The Heart of Awareness. I keep repeating that for people that come in and ask what book we read. He speaks, moreover, in a language that is for all its modesty, physical and direct. He is not abstract. Though some translations, laboring to render his special terms faithfully, make him sound difficult and even abstruse. On the contrary, Ashtavakra is very simple. And me personally, I gotta agree because I got the other version over here. So I'm gonna tell y'all what version to get if you care to get it. Hold up. If you niggas care to get it. What the fuck is my Ashtavakra Gita at? Hold up. This is a good version right here. Hold up. I'm gonna put my camera up. I'm gonna put my camera up. Fire version again. And this is the author. Swami Chimanalayananda. Ashtavakra Gita. Song of Self-Realization. This one of them motherfuckers. So if you did want to get the raw version, I will go for that one. Or, you know, find some that suits, that wets your whistle. Okay, on the contrary, Ashtavakra is very simple. We are all one self. The self is pure awareness. The self, this flawless awareness, is God. There is only God. My nigga. Should I say been 8 ways? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way for you to see it. Bent 8 ways. Damn, I ain't even put the what's the name back up. He all bent up. And that's the king. The king on his knees for the guru. All right. Everything else is an illusion. The little self, the world, the universe, that goes for all your dimensions. All these things arise with the I thought. That is, with the idea of separate identity. All right? If you're new here, stick around when we get into that. The little I invents the material world, which in our ignorance we strive hard to sustain. That's one of them statements. Forgetting our original oneness, bound tightly in our imaginary separateness. What do? We spend our lives mastered by a spacious sense of purpose and value. Let's look that word up because I don't know what that word means. Is that spacious or spacious? That's not spacious. Superficial, plausible, but actually wrong. So it means wrong. So mastered by a wrong sense of purpose and value. That's how we live our life, by thinking we this separate little I. Endlessly constrained by our habit of individuation, the creature of preference and desire. We continually set one thing amongst another until the mischief and misery of choice consume us. Oh, man. But our true nature is pure, choiceless awareness. That's the thing about it. You ain't got to work for what you already are. You already are this awareness. This is why we talk about, that's why I say stand on principle. Stand on what you already are. You believe you're going up and down this spiritual journey trying to get here and get there. That's a play of the mind. Okay, cool. We get it. But what you are, what that journey is so-called trying to take you to, is what you already are. And when you understand that, it's choiceless. It's not, I have to make a choice to go on this path or this journey. You know, there's no choice with it. You are automatically, systematically aware. The only thing, that's what I like to say, the only thing that we know 100% for sure, for certain, is that I am, that I exist. We might not know where we exist. We might not know what we exist as. but we know that we exist. We are already and always fulfilled. We are already and always fulfilled. It is easy, says Ashtavakra. You are the clear space of awareness, aka Chirakash, pure and still, in whom there is no birth, no striving, and no I. And no I. Then how do we recover our original awareness? How do we dispel the illusion of separation? Some commentators suppose that Ashtavakra is really not concerned to answer these questions. For them, this Gita is a transcendent confession too pure to be useful. So some of y'all may render that. It may be too direct to even be useful. Some people may render that. To me, that shit goddamn getting down with the get down. That's the get down. Them motherfuckers it. Because by the time you start reading this shit, you understand it's direct and it's straight. A lot of people want logical, intellectual shit to build on and grasp and go up. Gotta go up, gotta go up, gotta go up. You get over here, he telling you ain't shit to do. And you ain't doing shit no way. Why you think you doing shit? That's basically what, if you want to sum my Ashtavakra up, he gonna tell you, you ain't doing shit and it ain't shit to do. Then you ain't been doing shit the whole goddamn time. But there's some butts in there. Very small butts. Little bitty tooty booty butts, but some butts. Others see it as earnestly didactic, a manual of conduct. Both are actually right. Ashtavakra is indeed wild, playful. Listen, wild, playful, utterly absorbed in the self. Since words are of the mind, here we go. Since words are of the mind, which arises only, words are only of the mind, and they arise only to obscure awareness. Words are indeed folly. And who would teach folly? I'm going to read that again because I want you to hear what's being said here. I didn't make this shit up. And you come to the realization and like, damn, it's actually true. Some commentators suppose that Ashtavakra is really not concerned to answer these questions. How to dispel the illusion? How do we get back to our original self? For them, the Gita is a transcendent confession too pure to be useful. It's not even useful. Others see it as earnestly didactic, a manual of conduct. Both of them are right. Ashtavakra is indeed, he is wild. This nigga is playful and fully absorbed in itself. Since words are of the mind, which arises only to obscure awareness. It's like you the sun and the words pop up like clouds, only to block it. Momentarily though, but only to block it. Words are indeed folly. And who would teach folly? Ashtavakra would teach folly. He is an eminently compassionate and practical, in his eminently compassionate and practical madness. How does that make you feel when you hear that he's telling you who would teach folly? But what do we mean by folly? If words are being spoken, he's saying that words only ultimately obscure the true nature of who you are. They can't describe it. It's indescribable. So you really can't describe it. So then a motherfucker be like, okay, so what's the point of this shit then? Why are we doing this shit then? Why are we talking about it? Because it's folly. You just said it's folly. For those that know, you know. For those that get it, you get it. These words are meant, see, because a lot of people think these words are going to give you the it. All of these words are meant to point you to it. You got to find it. Nobody can ever give you it. No book, no teacher, no speaker could ever give you it. No words could ever give you it. Words are going to point your ass that way. If I say go to the door, that doesn't automatically place you at the door. Your ass got to walk to the motherfucking door. Get your ass up and walk to the door. My words are describing it. And even the word door doesn't suffice in the actual description of what the fuck a door is. You just accepted the concept of what a door is. If I tell my fucking 5-week-old son to go to the door, he's not grasping it, he's not caring, he's not understanding. He has no concept of it. Once he grows up, he has to be groomed to concepts. That's just the way this motherfucking planet works. Let me get so many comments. You are already what you were looking for. It's crazy how mind creates a woolly complete narrative to look for what you are. Facts. I am, therefore I think, not I think, therefore I am. Words are indeed folly. Damn, that just sums up all wisdom, bro. That's really it. Words ultimately are folly. They just used to point you somewhere. Trav says, so what we doing it for? Why are we talking about it? Just go back to TikTok, little bro. Facts. Because this ain't that. Go back to TikTok, man. This wild teacher is the trickster God, the divine mad teacher. Niggas. His science is advanced because he gets to the point. Nothing matters. You aren't doing anything. Everyone is searching for something to do. Ain't nothing to do, LOL. You gotta be wild to truly accept that. You gotta be fucked up. Me and Trav be having them conversations. It's like, bro, like we be having them conversations, just throwing shit around. It's like, bro, Trav had to stop me. Like, bro, do you just not, bro? We just throwing these words and understandings around and making jokes about them. Like, well, a lot of motherfuckers can't do that. Like, you gotta be mad up here. Oh, you can look normal. We can look normal, function normal in the world. I can type a text. I can crack a joke. I can hang out with niggas and eat strawberries and watermelons. Smack my girl on the ass when she walk by. Give her a kiss on the cheek. Put a ball in the baby mouth. Respect my elders. Oh, but a nigga is mad. You gotta be. Oh, you got to be. You got to be. Let's continue, y'all. We ain't even got to the first. We only going to the first chapter. We're going to read the first chapter, which the chapters are pretty short. Even while cutting the ground from under our feet, he shows us at every turn what to do. You hear that? With a crazy solitude. What the fuck? Let's look this word up. Care or concern. With a crazy care or concern, he tells us how to end our self-estrangement. Cosmic puzzle piece, my nigga. I don't know if you've been here, but I don't think you've been here. That been certain pick. Yeah, you ain't been here. Shout out to you, Cosmic puzzle piece. Listen, here we go. Be happy, love yourself, don't judge others, forgive, always be simple. Don't make distinctions. Give up the habit of choice. Let the mind dissolve. Give up preparing, here we go. Give up preferring and desiring. Desire only your own awareness. Give up identifying with the body and the senses. Give up your attachment to meditation and service. Give up your attachment to detachment. Give up giving up. How many people feel confused from that? How many people feel confused from that? You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to put it out there. If you do, that's fine. Listen to what he's saying. Listen. Be happy. Love yourself. Don't judge others. Forgive. Always be simple. Don't make distinctions. Give up the habit of choice. Let the mind dissolve. Give up preferring and desiring. Desire only your awareness. Give up identifying with the body and the senses. Give up your attachment to meditation and service. Give up your attachment to detachment. Give up giving up, my nigga. But also, what does he say? Reject nothing, accept nothing, be still, but above all, be happy. In the end, you will find yourself just by knowing how things are. Man, drop some bars, right? Coop said, I don't know, the rest of the world look mad to me. I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you. That's because you mad to them. Listen to what he's saying. You have to be mad. Why to even consider this? There you go right there. There you go right there. He's saying, stop being human. And ain't nobody finna do that. Facts. Bars. Detach from detachment. A lot of context has not been given yet, but it will be. I will be perverse and humorless to suppose that just because Ashtavakra, with his irreducible non-dualism, considers meditation merely a distracting habit, he means us to abandon our practice. Of course, from the perspective of unconditional freedom, where nothing makes any difference, meditation seems a comically self-important waste of time. But Ashtavakra makes it plain. The moment a fool gives up his spiritual practice, he falls prey to fancies and desires. The moment the fool gives up his meditation practices or his spiritual practice, he falls prey to his fancies and his desires. God help the seeker who presumes that since he is already and always fulfilled, he can give up trying. So once you get to that point, it's basically saying this. Once you get to that point, not proving to nobody else, not your brother, your sister, not the YouTubers, not TikTok, not Instagram, not nobody. Once you have realized and have straight, utterly conviction, nigga, you convicted for this crime of realizing itself. Once you've been convicted, the book's been sealed, the gavel has been smashed, and it is what it is. Oh, it makes complete sense of spiritual practice and all of this and that. Leave it alone. But until that point, man must maintain his practice. He must maintain his practice. It is all a matter of knowing. We are indeed already perfect. But until we know it, we had better deal with our ignorance. And that can't be done just by listening to words. It requires sadhana or practice, trying, doing what we do not wish to do. It means long, hard, self-effacing work. What Trav been saying, what Bobby been saying, what Penny been saying, do the work. Do the work, nigga. The heart of Ashtavakra's advice is not to give up your practice, but to abandon our strenuous indolence. Striving is the root of sorrow. The root of sorrow is striving, he says. But who understands this? Look at the master, he says, who is lazier. Who is more lazier than a spiritual master, teacher? Lazy ass nigga. He has trouble even blinking. He certainly does not run around puffing himself up, looking for God or liberation, busily making excuses for not finding himself. Where everybody say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. The master ain't doing that. He lazy as hell. Dealing with our ignorance also means, for almost all of us, finding someone like Ashtavakra to help us, having a teacher to point you into the direction. We cannot easily break the spells ourselves. Here again, Ashtavakra is very practical. At least half of the book describes the nature of the master, the man who has found his way. It is an austere and enchanting portrait. The master is a child, a fool, a man asleep, a leaf tumbling in a wind. Inside, he is utterly free. He does exactly as he pleases. Rules mean nothing to him. He does not care who makes fun of him because he is always playing and having a wonderful time. What motherfucker be saying? I'm having my way. Nigga having their way. I'm out here having my way with this shit. I'm gonna have my way with this shit. Are you really? The motherfucker who didn't realize who the fuck he really is? Oh, he having his way. And not in an egocentric way of having your way. He lives life as if he had no body. He seems to walk on air. He is unsmudged, like the clear sky or the smooth and shining surface of a vast lake. Because we are subject to the dualities which he has transcended, we glimpse his nature only through paradox. What do we read in Gyangyo Be As You Are? When you try to judge the person who so-called has knowledge of self based from your limited perspective of understanding, he shouldn't eat this, and why is he talking like this? He should say this. He should be more respectable doing this. He should eat healthier food. He should exercise. He shouldn't say this, and he shouldn't. Why is he doing this? Or why, all that shit. You can only view their nature through a paradox. It's not making sense. It's like that. This person has overcome the dualities that you have let yourself be arrested by. He sees, but he sees nothing. He sees what cannot be seen. He knows, but he knows nothing. He sleeps soundly without sleeping. He dreams without damn. He dreams without dreaming. He is busy, but he does nothing. He is not alive, nor is he dead. Take a load of that. His secret in the ultimate paradox is that he stands on his own. He is completely by himself. Only by an absolute independence has he discovered his absolute oneness with all things. Who was this Ashtavakra, the uncompromising poet and saint? Since Ashtavakra's whole point is that individuality or the individual identity is an illusion, it is perfect irony that the only concern or the only certain thing we can say about him is that he was not Ashtavakra. God damn. He ain't even this person that you seem to think he is, that we keep calling him. He was an anonymous master who adopted Ashtavakra's character as he found it represented in a number of tales in classical Indian literature, and used it as a suitably faceless mask through which to deliver his gospel of self-effacement. The best known tale in the Mahabharata explains how he got his name, which means 8 twists. When still in his mother's womb, Ashtavakra overheard his father, Koda, reciting the Vedas. Though still and unborn, he already knew the scriptures. And hearing his father's mistakes, he called out to correct him. So his daddy was reading the Vedas to him while he was in the womb, and he called out through his mama's belly and corrected him on the verses that he's reading the scriptures. Koda was insulted and cursed him. So the father was mad and cursed him. And in due course, he was born with deformed limbs. Some 8 years later, the court of Janaka, Koda engaged in a debate with a great scholar, Byrom, son of King Virnu. He was defeated, and Byrom had him drowned. You hear that? His daddy got drowned. Oh, the son of King Virnu. He was defeated, and Byrom had him drowned. When Ashtavakra was 12, he discovered what had happened. He went at once to Janaka's court, where he beat Byrom in a debate. Byrom then explained that his father had not been drowned, but he was banished to the bottom of the sea to serve King Varuna. He released Koda, who wished at once to lift the curse from his son. He told Ashtavakra to bathe in the river or Samgyana. When he came out of the water, his body was straight. Listen. There was another story about him in a Vishnu Purana. As Ashtavakra was performing penances underwater, celestial nymphs gathered and sang for him. He was delighted. He gave them a boon. They would all marry Krishna, Lord Krishna. But when he came out of the water, the nymphs saw his deformities and made fun of him. Ashtavakra added a curse to the boon. After their marriage, they would all fall into the hands of robbers. And so it happened. They all married Krishna, but after his death, despite the efforts of Arjuna, they were all carried off by robbers. The moral of both stories is, of course, that even the ugliest form is filled with God's radiance. The body is nothing. The self is everything. There may be, as well, some notion of sacrificial value of deformity, of the kind we find in the St. Augustine, when he remarks of the breaking of Christ's body on the cross. His deformity forms you. So the Ashtavakra Gita was written by an unknown master who took his inspiration from the contest between Ashtavakra and Byrom, which Ashtavakra wins by demonstrating the absolute oneness of God. Brahma Davatim. I can't say it, but though he casts his verse as debate. Though he casts his verses as a debate, there is, as I have said, no real dialogue. Only one voice is heard, speaking through the assumed character and with the borrowed yet potent authority of special facelessness of Ashtavakra. And it is entirely appropriate that the real master of the Gita remain forever unknown, since, as he has Ashtavakra say of himself, for what he has become, there is no name. For what he has become, there is no name. We not only know the next to nothing about him, we cannot even be sure when he lived. Sanskrit was so static, especially after Panini's account of it, it became prescriptive. It became prescriptive a little before Christ. That its literature is hard to date on linguistic evidence alone, since we have only the slimmest literary, historical, and philosophical evidence besides. It is very hard to date the Ashtavakra Gita with any accuracy. And Indian editors usually argue with some sentimentality that it is written in the same age or just before the Bhagavad Gita, which they date to the 5th or the 5th of 4th or 4th century BCE. But they generally agree that the Ashtavakra Gita comes a good deal later still. Without rehearsing the arguments, we may safely guess that it was written either in the 8th century by a follower of Shankarya or in the 14th century during a resurgence of Shankarya's teachings. As a distillation of monastic Vedanta, it certainly has all the marks of Shankarya's purification of ancient Shaivism. Ashtavakra ends his Gita with a litany of self-dismissive questions, all of them utterly rhetorical. What is good or evil, life or death, freedom or bondage, illusion or the world, creation or dissolution, the self or not the self? The Sanskrit literally asks where, rather than what. Where is the little soul or God himself? Within the ever-fulfilled and ubiquitous self, there is no place for these or any distinctions. There is no place even for spiritual inquiry. Who is the seeker, Ashtavakra asks? What has he found? What is seeking in the end of seeking? What is a spiritual seeker? And what's the end of that seeking? The final questions dissolve even the voice which asks them. Sounds just like what we read, right? Be as you are. Ramana Maharashi. You need to figure out who the fuck that I is first. I got free will. I got this. I got that. I am this and I am God. I am this. I am that. Who the fuck is this I? With this last gesture of self-erasure, the nameless master is finally free to declare his real identity, which he shares unconditionally with all beings. Here we go. We almost into chapter 1, y'all. For I have no bounds. I am Shiva. Nothing arises in me. In whom nothing is single, nothing is double. Nothing is, and nothing is not. What more is there to say? Some years ago, when we first settled in our ashram in Florida, we used to go out riding in the very early morning. My teacher always insisted that we take with us a much fumbled, broken backed, but well-loved copy of the Ashtavakra Gita. We would saddle our horses before dawn and ride out along the banks of the Sebastian River. I remember the frost glazing the winter, the ghostly breath of the horses, and on the western horizon, the thin crescent of a Shiva moon. Once, looking back when the horses shielded, or when the horses shedded, I saw a panther standing in our tracks, silent and unafraid, smelling our voices. Just before the sun came up, we would dismount and gathering frosted palm fans and handfuls of oak duff and make a fire. And as the sun rose above the bright water, we read aloud from the Gita. It is easy God made all things. There is only God. When you know this, desire melts away. When you know this, desire melts away. Clinging to nothing becomes still. Thomas Byron, Kashi. Thomas Byron, the Kashi Foundation, July 1989. All right, y'all. We're finna get into the first chapter. It's not that many. We can actually do two chapters. It's up to y'all. But we're not going to do 3. We are already at 1 hour and 55 minutes. So we're going to do 1. Chapter 1. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? Y'all digging it? What we doing? What we doing? What we doing? Where we at? Where we at? Y'all ready to talk about the self? Let me get some SOPs in the chat. Let me get some SOPs in the chat. Cody, what's happening? Cody, you didn't change your name a million goddamn times. But I know it's you, my man, because the way you write your lines. Become nothing. And get them SOPs, y'all. Let me know y'all still here with me. S to the O to the P. Leonda's still here. Okay, you rocking out. Martha still here. We rocking out. Trav still here. We rocking out. Now we finna actually get into the actual Ashtavakra Gita itself. Oh, he said it's been cold 88. Oh. Shout out to Upstate NY. Shout out to Upstate NY. All right, y'all. Verse 1. Chapter 1. Oh, Master, tell me how to find detachment, wisdom, and freedom. Child, if you wish to be free, shun the poison of the senses. Seek the nectar of truth, of love and forgiveness, simplicity and happiness. Earth, fire, and water, the wind and the sky. You are none of these. If you wish to be free, know you are the self, the witness of all of these, the heart of awareness. Set your body aside. Sit in your awareness. You will come at once, be happy. You will at once be happy, forever still, forever free. You have no caste, no duties to bind you, formless and free, beyond the reach of the senses, the witness of all things. So be happy. Right or wrong, joy and sorrow, these are of the mind only. They are not yours. It is not really you who acts or enjoys. You are everywhere, forever free, forever and truly free. The single witness of all things. But if you see yourself as separate, then you are bound. I do this and I do that. The big black snake of selfishness has bitten you. I do nothing. This is the nectar of faith. So drink and be happy. Know you are one, pure awareness. With the fire of this conviction, burn down the forest of ignorance. With the fire of this conviction. This makes sense once you have been convinced, not convinced, but once you are convicted with this shit. I know they use that shit in like Baptist churches. Conviction of the Lord or something like that. I don't know. But nonetheless, this reigns true at that point. But before, you're going to still have some questions, which is cool. Burn down the forest of ignorance. Free yourself from sorrow and be happy. Be happy. Ain't shit about him telling you about being depressed, to be mad at the government, be mad at the world, be mad at what black women don't do for men no more, and what black men don't do for black women no more, and ain't none of that. Ain't nothing about being mad at white people. Ain't nothing about none of that. Nothing about being mad at AI. About none of that. This nigga keeps saying, be happy. For you are joy, unbounded joy. You are awareness itself. Just as a coil of rope is mistaken for a snake, so you are mistaken for the world. If you think you are free, listen, if you think you are free, you are free. If you think you are bound, you are bound. If you think you are oppressed, if you think you are in a spiritual war, you in a motherfucking spiritual war, and get your tools together, nigga. Get your psychic powers up. Get your telekinesis up. Nigga, get it up. If you in that, be in that. But if you free, you free. For your saying, for what you say is true. You are what you think. The self looks like the world, but this is just an illusion. The self is everywhere. One, still, free, perfect. The witness of all things, awareness, without action, clinging, or desire. Meditate on the self. One without two. Meditate on the one, not the two. Be the one, not the two. Exalted awareness. Give up the illusion of the separate self. Give up the feeling, within or without, that you are this or that you are that. My child, because you think you are the body, for a long time you have been bound. Know you are pure awareness. With this knowledge as your sword, cut through your chains and be happy. For you are already free. Without action or flaw, you are luminous and bright. You are bound only by the habit of meditation. Your nature is pure awareness. You are flowing in all things, and all things are flowing in you. But beware the narrowness of the mind. You are always the same. Unfathomable awareness. Limitless and free. Serene and perturbed. Unperturbed. Let's look that up. Not concerned. Untroubled. So you are unfathomable awareness, limitless, free, serene, and untroubled. Desire only for awareness. Whatever takes form is false. Only the formless endures. Listen, whatever takes form is false. Whatever has a shape. Everything has a shape, right? All the shit you know has a motherfucking shape, right? It's false. Everything is false. Only formless endures. When you understand the truth of this teaching, you will not be born again, for God is infinite. Within the body and without, like a mirror and the image in a mirror. Let's read that again. When you understand the truth of this teaching, you will not be born again. For God is infinite, within the body and without, like a mirror and the image in a mirror. Hint, hint. As the air is everywhere, flowing around. As the air is everywhere, flowing around the pot and filling it. So God is everywhere, filling all things and flowing through them forever. That's the end of chapter 1. That's the end of chapter 1. So what y'all think? We can go on and hit chapter 2. I think we need to do chapter 2, and we'll end it. It's real short anyway. So what is he telling you that it's already there? We can do a summary. It's already there. The only thing that's stopping it is the narrowness of your mind. And your mind is narrow and only knows things by what? What we always talk about, the 5 senses. The 5 senses are limited. You know that. The 5 senses deceive you. You know that. You know that. You got to read it in a book. That's your direct experience. But this limitless, this uninterrupted, unfathomable awareness is so subtle, you look over it. You look over it. Right, what Martha said. It's like a poem. Truth needs so little words. So little words. If you understand this truth and this teaching, you will not be born again. Ain't no worry about no reincarnation. Coming back doing this and that again. If you understand this, live life, let the body live the life, body, mind live the life, and be happy. It's nothing to be mad about. Because you understand that what's been pulled over your eyes. And that does not mean that so-called troubles won't happen to this so-called person that you perceive yourself to be. That comes with this mother. That come with this shit. You niggas know that. That come with this shit. Ain't no way around it. But you got to know that that's not ultimately you. We talking about totality, ultimately. You just need to know this and keep going. Same shit Maharaj says. You just need to know this and keep going. Like, let this shit keep playing out. The problem is we trying to control. Think about this. Niggas try to control every goddamn thing. Niggas try to control their spiritual realization. You try to control your journey. You try to control when and when not the ritual is going to play out for you. When and when not God is going to do something for you. You try to control. You get caught up in this separate illusionary understanding of the way that this shit is working by way of separation. That's why people are like, look, God don't play about me. Look what he did to you. Remember what you did to me back then and then and then and now. You're not even peeping how so-called unholy that much of a statement is. Like he just around here with, I'm gonna get these people for you, bro. I'm gonna get these people for you. God is everything in existence. It's not no God up there like, I'm finna get these folks for you. My God don't play about me. Look at it. Like people leave spirituality and still move like that. Oh, I'm finna get Shango on you. Oh, I'm finna get so-and-so on you. I'm finna get so-and-so on you. I'm finna get Lilith on you. You're moving through a very limited level of understanding of what the fuck you are. Because you're still leaving yourself to a slice and not the whole cosmic puzzle. Shout out to Cosmic Puzzle. Peace. Peace, love. You create the separation. What did he say up here? Remember, but beware. He said, listen, you are bound by the habit of meditation. But he gets down here and he says, what? But beware of the narrowness of the mind. That's why do I always say my main thing, if you was to ask me what do we talk about here? It's about you are the self. But you have to understand the factors of the mind. If you're not understanding the faction of the mind, well, I don't know what you're doing spiritually. I don't know what you're doing spiritually. Because you're not understanding how the factors of the mind has created all of this shit. You haven't, you gotta get that clear. I'm not saying you have to go deep in depth, but what I'm saying, what you have to do is realize the factions of the mind. Those 5 elements and those 3 gunas. That is how this thing is swooped and swayed back and forth. The 5 elements are swooping and swaying from Rajas to Tamas to Sattva, or from Rajas to Tamas, to be more correct. That's all I'm trying to get you to understand. Same thing he's doing here, but he's doing it with no concepts. He's doing it with less concepts. Let's put it like that. It's straight, direct, and straightforward. God don't play about me. Cody said it's fire. And I love the little corny slogans. This is the live and direct text selection, as usual. I'll catch you replay. Gotta spend time. Peace, Trey. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. My brother in darkness. Big forehead gods. Dance. Dance, square dance. Peace, Trey. All right, y'all. Yeah. No. I was talking to mom. Talking to moms. So, mom just showed up. See her grandson. But yeah, y'all. What y'all want to do? Y'all want to do the second chapter? Wrap this up with the second chapter? Let me see what y'all got in the chat. Y'all want to wrap this on up in the second chapter? We can do it. What y'all think? You know, Leandra says, yes, sir. Coop says, second chapter, please. Yeah, because it's real fast, y'all. We actually going to run through this book pretty fast. Be quite honest with you. We're going to run through it pretty fast, as you can see how it's written. The longest part is the introduction in a translator, introduction in a foreword. All right, everybody saying, let's go. SOP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got a second, please. Let's go. SOP. Let's do a chapter. I'm good. Sir and Pick says, when you eliminate the separateness, people won't you make what? God damn it, Sir and Pick. People won't make you mad like that because your understanding will be there. You will be there. Your understanding will be there. You just laugh at it. God damn, Sir and Pick. You missed a couple words. I know how I be when you typing though, bro. I got you. So you know when you eliminate the separateness, when you see there is really ultimately no division, it's like you won't really be mad. Like don't get me wrong, because it ain't even. And I know that's not what you saying, Sir and Pick, but I'm just gonna clarify this for those. It's not even about like trying to suppress being mad or suppress being happy. Those emotions are gonna be there. The real true thing here is understanding those are factors of the mind and the human body. And you are ultimately the awareness that's aware of the happiness. You are the one that's aware of the sadness, of the anger. Those things will be there. So the more you start paying more attention or putting more attention on that you are the one that's aware of these emotions, those emotions start. There's a lot of shit that will just not make you mad. It's a lot of shit that other people may find insulting that won't insult you. Like certain Pick just said, you fuck around and be laughing at the shit. Like the shit don't make me mad. Like what's her name did? I don't know if y'all seen the Kevin Hart Man, I wish Trav was still on here. Bro, Travis May just got a motherfucking doppelganger. Like, I'm talking about look just like Trav, but he a comedian. And he won Kevin Hart funny as fuck Netflix special. He the comedian that won it. Bruh, Ron Taylor. I swear to God. When Trav got the short haircut with the glasses, man, I wish he was here. I gotta call and tell him. Bro, the nigga look just like him. And he got just how Trav is a master with that Kabbalah. Dude is a master with that motherfucking what's that shit called? With comedy, bro. Somebody said I know. He's it's okay, y'all done seen it. Y'all done seen it. See, I was gonna bring up the Kevin Hart roast. I was gonna bring up the Kevin Hart roast, you know, the white dude, Tony. He did the racist joke. It wasn't even that funny, but I wasn't offended at the joke that he did about George Floyd. Like that shit like that don't make me mad no more, bro. Everybody outraged about it and shit. I know we all here really past that shit. The shit wasn't even funny, to be honest. He said funny shit though prior to that and after that. The joke just wasn't funny. I mean, I kind of like that shit, but it wasn't like, oh my god, that shit funny, bro. It was actually lame, but people, you know, offended. So shit like that'll start to just roll off you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You impeccable around this motherfucker, like sir, impeccable. What bro say? Outrage is a leaf 1803. Appreciate you. I don't know if you've been here before, but it is very performative. The outrage only makes people watch it. Facts. But if y'all seen Ron Taylor, bro, man, fuck that. What, man, I ain't gonna do. Trav ain't gonna take no offense by it, no way, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna pull it up. Hold up. I don't think I'm lying. Comedian. You gotta see some, bro. I swear to God, that nigga look like my nigga Trav, bro. Y'all gonna see this and be like, bro, like it's his doppelganger, bro. Hold up. Okay, stop sharing that one. Hold up, y'all. Just cause, bro. Say what the fuck? Look at that shit, man. That's Trav, bro. That's my nigga Trav, bro. And they kind of got like a similar sense of humor, bro. And this nigga is funny, bro. This nigga is funny as hell. I'm actually happy as hell that nigga won, bro. Because he was funny as hell, bro. I think he gonna be like classic. Classic. This nigga here is hilarious, bro. So if y'all ain't heard of Ron Taylor, go look him up, bro. I swear to God, some of that shit will remind you of Trav too, bro. I wish Trav was here, bro. I'm like, bro, this nigga look just like you, bro. Oh shit, that's my nigga Trav, bro, doing comedy. If Trav wanted to be a comedian, bro, in another, bro. Anyway, bro, y'all get what I'm saying, bro. Let's get back to the business, man. Let's get back to the business. All right, hold up. My nigga Trav, aka Ron Taylor. Look just like my guy Trav. I told you. I told you, bro. Glasses and fro, complexion and everything, bro. Swear to God, bro. And you know, y'all know how Trav be. You know what I'm saying? Trav got that nonchalant type vibe, bro. Got the same shit, bro. I said, bro, what the heck, bro? Me and my girl in here watching this shit tripping. Let's get back to it, y'all. Chapter 2. Enough of that. Enough of that, bro. I wish he was here, bro. I gotta call him and tell him, bro. Like, check this nigga out, because he funny as hell, too. All right. Let's see. Chapter 2. Awareness. Yesterday, I lived bewildered, an illusion. But now I am awake, flawless, serene, and beyond the world. For my light, the body in the world arise. From my light, the body in the world arise. So all things are mine, or nothing is. Either I'm all of this or I'm none of this. Either I'm all of this or I am none of this. From the light, from my light, the body and the world arise. From awareness, the light, awareness, and it's simple. Because nothing exists if it's not even in your awareness. So that answers the question. I think we said it before. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? It can't make a sound. Because just based off of the way that sound works, there has to be a receiver on the receiving end for a sound to be there. So nothing exists outside of awareness. And if you are not awareness, if there's no awareness, there's no body and there's no world. So when we're talking about going to different worlds, it only exists within your awareness, which it exists in the mind, and the mind exists within awareness. So with that being said, let's continue, because I could go on, but let's continue. Now I have given up the body in the world. I have a special gift. I see the infinite self as a wave seeing and foaming, as a wave seething, and foaming is only water. So all creation streaming out of the self is only the self. Consider a piece of cloth. It is only threads. There you go, right there. What we just talked about with the white t-shirt. This shirt, you call it a shirt, but it ain't nothing but thread. So all creation, when you look closely, is only the self. That's why I say the thing about this thing here is discernment. True discernment. Direct discernment of your direct experiences. If you're new and just joining, we got countless videos where we go through all of that. It's no problem to go through it again, but hey, like sugar in the juice of sugarcane, I am the sweetness in everything I have made. When the self is unknown, the world arises. So when you don't know yourself, you see the world the normal way everybody else see the world. Not when it is known. So when the self is unknown, the world arises. Not when it is known. But you mistake the rope for the snake. When you see the rope, the snake vanishes. Just like that. You think it's a snake, but then once you come through proper discernment and realization that it's actually a rope, ain't it crazy how the snake just disappear? It just vanishes in thin air. My nature is light, nothing but light. But when the world arises, I alone am shining. When the world arises in me, it is just an illusion. Let's hear that again. Nature is my light, nothing but light. When the world arises, I alone am shining. When the world arises in me, it is just an illusion. Water shimmering in the sun. A vein of silver and mother of pearl. A serpent and a strand of rope. From me, the world streams out, and in me, it dissolves. As a bracelet melts into gold, a pot crumbles into clay, a wave subsides into water. I adore myself. How wonderful am I? I can never die. Can never die. All or nothing, baby. No, facts, Mothra. Facts. Let's read that again. When the world arises, I alone am shining. But when the world arises in me, it is just an illusion. So me, or not me, but the self, realizing that it is the self, I understand that all this shit is nothing but me. I'm shining. It ain't nothing but me. But When the world arises in me, it's nothing but an illusion. That's not the point that she was talking about. When the self is unknown, the world arises. So when the self is unknown, you see the material world. Just like a normal person. You believe that you were born into the world. Put it like that. When you don't know the self, you think that you were born into the world. But when you really know the world, you understand that the world arises within you. You don't arise within the world. You're not born into the world. This is your direct experience. Everything else you were told was by way of secondhand. Just like when you were born, you were told this is your name. This body don't got a name. It's something that was assigned to it. And by habitual or by repetitive action, you start answering to it. I got a 5-week-old son. He does not answer to his name. Because he ain't got no goddamn name. He's the nameless one. But he's going to get conditioned to be addressed and respond to this name. So when the self is unknown, the world arises. You think you're born into the world. But not when it is known. When it is known, this is what happens. The world arises in you. The world arises in you, and you realize that it's just an illusion. It's not you. So go off with your save the planet shit. Do your shit. My nigga said, I adore myself. How wonderful am I? I can never die. With true conviction. The whole world may perish from Brahma to a blade of grass, but I am still here, nigga. The creator God is gonna perish, but me, shit. A bullshit. I indeed, how wonderful. I adore myself. For I have taken form. Listen, for I have taken form, but I am still one. I'm under the appearance. I appear as a separate individual, my niggas. I appear the oneness. That's why I say, listen, man, look at here, man. You know, everything seems to be that motherfuckers looking for the greatest tricks of the world when the greatest tricks have already happened. You, the nothingness, has appeared as fucking everything. It's not that it's the nothingness. It's not that nothingness is nothing, but it's not a thing. It's not a thing. Nothingness is not a thing. It's every goddamn thing. And it's none of it at the same goddamn time. All things are made from this something that's not a thing. It becomes paradoxical until you really realize it. So this nothingness has become everything, even something that appears as a separate thing. A nigga. A nigga. Nothingness has appeared as a nigga. Yeah, damn, that's some cold shit. Something that can't be identified, that can't be touched, grasped, felt, seen, heard, even explained, has become a nigga. Appeared as a nigga. Let me say that. Appeared as a nigga. So, let's get back to it. Indeed, how wonderful. I adore myself, for I have taken form, but I am still one. Neither coming or going. I'm not going nowhere. Ain't no journey. Ain't no going to the great sweet by and by. Yet I am still everywhere. I'm not going, nor am I coming. But I'm every goddamn where. There's nowhere for me to go because it's nothing but me. Where am I going? What journey am I walking? What path am I taking? Like I say, it's cool if you say that. It's cool. But you know you're just dealing with in the realm of illusions. That's cool, except that I can talk from that standpoint too. I'm not here to shut it down, but I'm here to shut it down by way of direct truth. How wonderful and how great my powers. For I am without form, yet to the end of time, I uphold the universe. Wonderful, for nothing is mine. None of this shit is mine, yet all of this shit is mine. God damn it. Oh, man, let's eat a grape. Right, non-conceptual. Right, cosmic puzzle piece, that Vishnu floating in the cosmic ocean with all these little bubbles popping up. Zero said that's why it's no thing and be no thing. Then everything is that no thing because it's not just one thing and that's it. It's literally everywhere, even that we can't experience. Come on, man. Whatever is thought or spoken, I am not the knower, nor the known, nor the knowing. These three are not real. They only seem to be when I am not known. God damn it. Whatever is thought or spoken, I am not the knower, nor the known, or the knowing. I'm not the action. I'm not the thing that's being known, nor am I the knower of the thing. All three of these are not real. They only seem to be when I am not known. So when you have not understood that you are the observer, the self, or the nothingness, or the nothingness, let's even take it to that point. The act of knowing and known and knowing seems to be real. It seems to be a thing that needs to be done. I need to get this spiritual knowledge. I'm the knower of this spiritual knowledge. I know this and I know that about that dimension. I know this and I know that about these secret societies. I know this and I know that about whatever. And you don't know it. All of that shit is false. All of that shit is bullshit. But when you know who the fuck you are and you know you are all of this and none of this at the same goddamn time, that shit is fake. That shit is folly. For I am flawless. 2 from 1. 2 came from 1. This is the root from suffering. This is the root of suffering. Only perceive that I am 1 without 2. Pure awareness, pure joy. All in all the world is false. There is no other remedy. Through ignorance, I once imagined I was bound. Through ignorance, I once imagined I was bound. You're imagining that you're on a spiritual journey. You're imagining that you got to overcome some shit. You're imagining that there's a spiritual war. You're imagining. But I am pure awareness. I live beyond all distinctions in unbroken meditation. You think that means sitting there meditating all day? That's not the type of meditation he's talking about. That attention is always focused on that cosmic P. He always standing on principle is what he's telling you. always in that unbroken meditation. Indeed, I am neither bound. Listen, I am neither bound, I'm not trapped, nor am I free. An end to illusion. Let's clear that up. What does it mean he's not bound, nor is he free? Because these are dualistic concepts. For there to be freedom, there has to be a concept of bound. For there to be bound, there has to be a concept of freedom. None of those exist, because there's not even a concept of being bound or being free when you are everything that ever existed and that ever is. Who is binding you? What can bind you? It's all you. He just simply is. Puzzle piece said, I wouldn't, if it weren't for the speed bumps, I wouldn't know I'm traveling. It is groundless. For the whole creation, though it rests in me, is without foundation. Even though it rests in me, it has no foundation. The body is nothing. The world is nothing. When you understand this fully, how can they be invented? For the self is pure awareness and nothing less. The body is false, and so are its fears. Heaven and hell, freedom and bondage. It is all invention. What can they matter to me? I am awareness itself. What did Jane and Nico say? There's no end. There's no beginning. There's really no real. There's no pretending. There's really no fail. There's really no winning, because nothing really isn't. Everything really isn't. Damn. I ain't know Janae I always say her name wrong. Janae Aiko. I ain't know she said no shit like that. God damn. If Zero says, if we transcend for a moment, but yeah, now that line right there is it. Whatever song she said that on, drop that in the chat. If we transcend for a moment our minds, we can see how literally everything is self-made. The pain and depression, the illusions, just to drop the excuses of identification with the illusion of the ego. Facts. Enter the peace of disillusion. He said, yes, it was her song, Ways, Ways and I. I felt that. Okay. Ways and I. Okay. Add that. Let's see that. Let's see here. Oh, I see it. Ways. I was. Or I ways. I got it. So I'm going to check that shit out. Cool T just says, I cannot die because I was never born, nigga. Ain't that crazy? Nigga, what? Okay, yeah, all right. I just found it. Appreciate that for that, Jim. I'm going to go check that one out. God damn it. That might have to get added to the playlist. Let's see. I see only one, many men, one wilderness. Then to what may I cling? I am not the body, I am not the body, nor is this body mine. I am not separate. I am awareness itself, bound only by my thirst for life. I am the infinite ocean. When thoughts spring up, the wind freshens, and like waves, 1,000 worlds arise. But when the wind falls, the traitor sinks with the ship. On the boundless ocean of my being, he thunders, and all worlds with him. Talking about the mind. Talking about that mind. 1,000 waves and 1,000 worlds arise with the mind. But when that motherfucker subsides back into what it is, the infinite ocean of consciousness of this cosmic P, all those worlds fall by the wayside with them. And this is not just cute, pretty talk. We go through the 3 stages: the waking, the dreaming, and the deep sleep. In the waking world, your 5 senses are fucking active. The ego is fucking active. You sensing, you feeling, you hearing, you feeling things. You take that into the dream world. What happens in the dream world? Somehow your senses turn inward and you create a whole world on the inside of your mind. That's why I say there's no difference between the dream world and the real world. It's the same thing. Your mind is projecting its reality out here. When you go into the dream, your mind is projecting the whole reality in the dream. And is it not true that everything in that dream is nothing but you, the dreamer? And your grandmama show up in a dream, the cats, the dogs, the rats, the water, the trees, the buildings, the vehicles. Is it not the product of you, the dreamer? The same way in the waking world. That's what we mean by all this shit is me. It appears separate. It appears as separate things. But let's take it to the deep sleep. In that deep sleep state, where the mind in all the, because even in a dream state, you got your 5 senses. You feel shit, you hear shit, you see shit, you smell shit. But you take it to that deep sleep state, all of that falls away. But somehow you still know. There's just no particular thing to know of when you're going to deep sleep. So all those worlds, the waking world, the dream world, the other dimensions of spiritual experiences you had, they all fall by the wayside when you go into deep sleep. But oh, how wonderful. Am I the unbounded deep? Am I the unbounded deep in who all living things live? I mean, who all living things naturally arise, rush against, other playfully, and then subside. He's talking about the whole reality itself. The unbounded deep ocean, living things or waves arise, and then they rush against to each other. They collide. People collide. Ages collide, the Aquarian age, the Pisces age. Spiritual systems collide. People collide. Cars collide. And he says this is honestly just nothing but playfulness. They all smash into each other and then they subside back into the deep ocean of pure consciousness, awareness. It's what you are. Everything has to go back into awareness. Nothing comes outside of awareness. Everything is in awareness. Remember, even shit that you don't know, you aware that you don't know. So even your ignorance is still in awareness. In awareness, if it's the most holy divine thing, so even in your ignorance, you still divine. This is the shit. This is it. Straightforward, straight direct to you. None of that play. That is that. We have concluded today's session. Oh, my cosmic P pushers. How do y'all feel about today's book read? We back with the Sunday reads. How do y'all feel about Ashtavakra? Remember, we just getting started. We just getting started. No cut. No cut, certain pigs say. This is straight directly to the point, bro. There ain't none of that. The book is fire. Cook TGS said. Leandra said that's true. Common Puzzle Piece say my cup is full. Well, with that, y'all know how we got to do this. As always, no obstacles will apprehend you. Prosper over pain. Once you prosper over that pain, you get to see that those were never obstacles. There was always opportunities. Always opportunities for you to observe. What do I always say? For you to observe your one-sided opinions, your thoughts, your emotions, and whatever the fuck else, the whole goddamn word, the body, observe it all. Because that's what you've been doing the whole goddamn time anyway. It's just so subtle you haven't paid it attention. You will watch all that bullshit of the characteristics that you may despise or may not despise. It starts to fall off. All this shit does not have the same effect on you no more. That's the spiritual practice. Switch to observer mode. SO motherfucking P. Stand on principle as always. Sharon Peck says, it's all love, bro. SOP. Leandra says, feeling good about it. I appreciate you for sharing with us. I appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for showing up to the live. Zero says, amazing. I feel this next stage of grounding the P. Thank you, my noses. Thank you, Zero. The motherfucking Mexico hero. Stand on principles. And on the principle, my bad. Zero says, no obstacle will apprehend you. There are always opportunities to observe the thoughts, opinions, and everything. That's what we do. That's the principle that we stand on. The observer, the unscathed, the untouched, the boundless, the infinite one. The nigga who ain't never died, and who was never born, and who can never be hurt. That's you. That's me. And you is me. Peace out, y'all. Much love. Matter of fact, let's play this on the way out. Listen to the SOP. I am that. What's
They told me go find yourself. I said, baby, I never lost me. It was always here. Always here. They asked me who I am, I said I'm nothing and everything. Pain is just a body, suffering's a mental thing. The world a mirror, baby, what you see is what you bring. Stop imagining you this or that, you already a king. Grew up in the struggle thinking I was what they called me. Broke, lost the problem, but that was never really me. I'm the space behind the noise, I'm the calm inside the storm. Been here before the trauma, gon' be here when it's gone. The real don't die, the fake never live. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Secret is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing. Love said I'm free. Between the nothing and the everything, my whole life flow. The mind create the abyss, but the heart let it go. I ain't practicing no more, I just be what I know. You want nothing, expect nothing, that's when blessings show. They try to define me, put me in a box and lock it. Truth don't fit in boxes, can't contain it in your pocket. Like the sky don't fight the clouds, I just let them pass through. Everything I thought I was, none of that was true. The real don't die, the fake never lives. I don't want nothing from the world, not a thing. Secret is the sword, yeah. I found it in me. Wisdom said I'm nothing, yeah. Love said I'm free. Little baby, I've been crying, but my tears ain't made of pain. Ain't made of recognition, seeing clearly through the rain. Every person that betrayed me was a mirror on the wall, showing me the parts of me I didn't want to call. Suffering is just resistance, non-acceptance of the real. You can't hear what you won't face, you can't face what you won't feel. But beyond the mind is something that ain't never been disturbed. Can't describe it with emotion, can't contain it with a word. Little baby, stop the suffering, just accept what is. Real don't need no proving, unreal never live. The supreme come uninvited when you let go the grip. The awareness never dies, only the ego slip. I done lost people, lost money, lost my mind a time or two. But the one who's watching all of that, he never lost his cool. That's the real me. That's the part they cannot take. That's the part that woke up every time my life would break. Wisdom told me I am nothing, and I felt free when she said it. Love told me I am everything, and I cry cause I believe it. Now between those two forever is where I choose to live. Not in fear, not in ego, just in all I have to give. The world don't owe me nothing and I'm good with that today. I stopped demanding answers and the truth came anyway. Uninvited, unexpected, like the sun after the rain. Never broke again, don't just mean money, it means pain. You are already that which you see. You are already that which you see.